Hello everyone, welcome to J.Codes. This is the 6th tutorial of Java. In this video, we will talk about methods. These are methods. A method is a function that contains a group of statements and allows you to pass arguments into it. Also, it may or may not return a value. Most importantly, it can be associated with an object. Why? Because each object can have their own method. You can access the methods through the object. For example, the method eat is in class human. Once you create an instance of class human, assume we create a human object named Tom. We will discuss how to create an object in the next tutorial. Then you can access Tom's eat method by calling tom.eat. Now you see eat is associated with object Tom. Tom's and Emily's eat methods are independent and they won't affect each other. Now it's time to get more in depth. Similar to the field, a method also has an access modifier. It can be public, private, or protected. This is a type of return value. It can be a primitive data type or any class or void. Void means this method won't return any value. This is the method's name. The principle of naming a method is quite similar with the variables, but it will usually start with a verb. Here are some examples. How do we call this method? Inside of this class, you can just simply call it like this. To call it from a separate class, you have to instantiate an object, then use the object to access this method. Here's an example of how to create a human object, Tom, then access the eat method of Tom. Can we pass arguments to this method? Yes, we can. We just need to change our eat method a little bit by adding a parameter in the brackets. We should declare the type of parameter this is too. Just put the type right in front of each parameter. In this example, we use an int type parameter named food. It will allow the caller to call it by passing an integer. Here's the way we call it. We pass an integer 10 to the eat method. For multiple arguments, we can simply add more parameters in the brackets using a comma to separate them. Here's an example of how we call it from inside of the human class. For any number of arguments which have the same type, you may use 3 dots. In this case, we can pass as many int type parameters as we want. We call these 3 dots varargs. This is how we call the method. If you want to add some other type of parameter, you need to put a varargs parameter to the last position. Unlike the other types of parameters, varargs are only allowed once in each method. Here's an example of how we use it. Now we're going to talk more about the method as a whole. This part is called method declaration. If we leave the method's name and parameter types alone, this is called the method signature. These are the parameters. When we use this method, we can pass arguments to it. Their orders have to be the same. Double first, then int, then boolean. Now under this eat method scope, drinks equal 10.99, food equals 5, and yummy equals true. From a different perspective, we may call them differently. But actually, we're talking about the same thing. In this video, we have learned about methods. Thank you for watching J.Codes.